In this short video, we're going to give you an introduction to the interface used in Vectric Spark. We're going to show you how to navigate your way around the program to get you started. Now, when you first open the software, you'll be presented with this startup screen that you can see here. And here we have a panel on the left. We've got various options to choose from, whereby we can create a file to start a brand new session. We can open a previous file that we've already created, where we can browse through our system to locate our files. Here we have recent files list, so you'll see the last few projects will be listed amongst this recent files section. We've got areas to access your tutorials, free projects, and the documentation for Spark. And then below that, we have various links that will link you out to Vectric.com, your portal account, and the very useful and handy Vectric forum. And then towards the bottom, you'll see that we've got 3 buttons here that take you to our ever popular social channels. Now, the main body of the startup screen here is dedicated to your training content. So the first tab that we have is the Getting Started video. So you've got easy access to the Getting Started series, whereby Todd will walk you through a project from start to finish, including the machining of the project to help you get up and running. And we totally recommend that you watch the entire 5 project-based series to get you started. Here you can click on any one of these projects and that will pop the video up, and you can download the project files if you wanted to take a look at those and machine those for yourself. Next up, we have tutorials. Okay, so here is where you have access to all of the tutorials. For example, you could go into the drawing tools and then you can locate a tutorial, watch it, learn more about the specific tool in action. And then over on the right hand side, we have the free project tab, and when you click on that, you'll be updated with the latest free projects that are available to you, which are updated on a regular basis. You can simply watch the video, follow along, and download the files to machine for yourself. So we have lots of resources available to help you get up and running with your Spark software, from the Getting Started series to the dedicated tutorials and the inspirational free projects. Now, if you was to start a new file, you'd come over here to create file, and this is where you would enter in your job dimensions. So you'll set your width, your length, and the thickness that you intend to work with, your units. And you can also select the appearance of your part that you wish to create. And then you could go ahead and press create, and then you'll be presented with a blank page where you can go ahead and start designing up your new project. In this instance, we're just going to close out here by going to File, Close. And then if you wanted to open a file, you could simply do that by using the Open File option, or in this instance, I'm actually going to open one of my recent files. I'm going to click on that, and that will open up like so. So when you start a new job or you open a file, this is the interface that you will be presented with. And we're going to navigate around the different areas of the software to get you up and running. So by default, you'll see that this layout is what you can see on the screen here, and you'll see that your design tools are over on the left-hand pane. And the majority of the interface is took up by the main view, which you can see here, and it's currently in a 2D view state, and this is where we can draw and edit vectors and objects and see the visibility of those here. Over on the right hand side, if I click on this icon here, we have access to all of the tools that allow us to create, edit and preview toolpaths. So let's have a look at everything in a little bit more detail. So at the top here, we have drop-down menus that we always have access to. And if you click on any of these, then the menu cascades down from the top, relevant to the word that's being clicked. And some items might have an arrow on that will create a sub-menu where you've got lots of different choices. Now, they're all fairly self-explanatory, and you will see these menus being used from time to time throughout the video tutorials. Now, the majority of the time, you're going to access functions of the software over in the left-hand pane. Now you can access and switch on a tool simply by clicking on an icon. Now where an icon has a small arrow, that means that it's a subgroup and there are more tools that can be accessed. And so to access those other tools in a subgroup, you can simply either long left click or you could simply right click and you'll see a further menu comes down, in which case you can then switch to select that tool, and then the icon will be updated here in the actual design pane. Alternatively, you can click on this icon here, which will expand all of those tools, so you always have visibility of the subset in your view. And then to collapse that, you can simply just click on that icon again to give you a much cleaner, nice, minimal view that we're seeing here. So to use a tool, you simply just click on an icon, and then in the design view here, we can make use of that tool. Now, depending on the tool selected, you may be presented with a floating toolbar that gives you further access to the functions of the tool that you currently selected. So for example, we could look at assigning the text tool. So we could come over here and we could click on the text tool, and then you'll see here we have this floating toolbar, and if I click on that, I can drag that into position wherever I want that to go. And here we have further options to actually control the text from this toolbar, and I could go ahead and create my text. So for example, I could click in this space here and I could simply type in some text, and then when I'm done with that, I could come over and put that back into transform mode, whereby I have further options then to then size it, I could rotate it, I could move it, and so forth. And if I didn't like it, I could simply have that selected, press backspace, and that will delete that. Now we have a tutorial for every single icon that you can see here in the interface, and so we recommend that you take a look at those to learn more about each feature. Now you can access certain functions in the software through what we call context-sensitive menus, and these can be accessed through the right mouse key, and it all varies depending on the state of the part and what you've got selected at a particular time. So for example, if we just right-click here in this white space, you can see we get a variety of choices, and so context-sensitive means we get a menu appropriate to a particular part that we may have clicked. For example, if we go ahead and select this vector over here, and then we go ahead and right click on that, you'll see that we've got a menu like so. And then if we go to the arrows, you can see we've got subset menus, for example. Now, if we go into node edit mode, and if I click on that, and now if I go into the right click menu, you'll see that we have a totally different menu, and that's particular to the object that was hovering over and the state that we're actually currently in this case is node edit mode. So let's just click out there, and we'll just right click to come back out and go back into normal transform mode. Over on the top left-hand area of our design view, we have what we call our visibility toolbar. And this is where we have various functions that allow us to control what is shown in our view. For example, we have a ruler, and if we click on that, you'll see it's now lit up. We're now in ruler mode. We can see that here. And if we wanted to turn that off, we can simply click to turn that off. We've got various other options, for example, your snap grid, and your smart snapping, and how we view our toolpath drawing. Okay, so there's lots of different options there. Okay, and then over to the right hand side, we have what we call our navigation toolbar, which allows you to navigate and zoom in on your job. Here we have the option to switch between 2D and 3D modes. If I click on that, you can see we are now in a 3D space, and this is where your job can be rotated or twiddled around in a 3D space by holding down the right click option on your mouse and dragging that. And you can also view this using the cube here. We can select a face and it will go into that particular view. We can put it back to the top here, and then to switch back to 2D mode, we can simply click on the 3D option there to put that back into the 2D, and then the camera's fixed and looks directly down on our job. At the top over here, we have access to the layer manager. So if I press the drop down option here, you can see all of the layers we have in our job. And so this is where we can basically organize our data into layers. We can position this if we wanted to. We can just drag and just drop it into place. And then when we're done with the manager, we can just click back into the view and the layer manager returns to its drop down option up the top over here. Now over on the right hand side, you'll see that we have an icon that provides access to our toolpath tools. If I click on that, you'll see that the toolpath pane expands and now I can access everything I need to toolpath my job. Now at the top over here is what we call our toolpath list, and this will show toolpaths that you've already created, and you can see in this file I can see 5 toolpaths here that were generated, and we can adjust their visibility by clicking on the eye icons, and we can also look at double clicking on them to access the toolpaths themselves. Now we've got many tutorials that cover the ins and outs of how to create and edit toolpaths, and I totally recommend that you take a look at those to get started. So working our way down the form, we've got icons here that enable us to access the tool database, where we can create and edit our tool settings, we can recalculate our toolpaths, and we have access to the toolpath summary tool. Then below that, we have access to 3 different tabs here. Currently and by default, we're in the Create Toolpaths tab, and here I have access to my sheet setup, which is where we confirm the setup in the software, and you want to ensure that you are matching that up to the physical setup that you will apply on your CNC. Then we have access to 8 toolpath icons. We have 5 CNC toolpaths and we've got 3 laser toolpaths. And if I click on any one of these, I have access to the toolpath where I can assign it vectors from my design and apply the settings in this form to then create a toolpath. And again, we have many tutorials that cover all of these options in greater detail. When you've created a toolpath, you can preview that using the Preview Toolpath tab. If we click on that, that will open up the preview toolpaths. And this will also automatically open when you edit or create a new toolpath. And as we are using a pre-existing file, I can just click onto this tab to open up the preview form where I have access to preview settings, where we can choose the material type or colour that I want to simulate the preview with, as well as further options if the tool is drawn and the quality of the preview itself. So if we just minimise that, and then further down we've got access to the play controls. Okay, so here we're able to preview the toolpath in action, and we can just go ahead and press play here and see what that will look like in our 3D view, where the software will automatically open up that 3D view and we can get a really good insight into how our part will look. And we really pride ourselves on the powerful toolpath preview, in that really what you see here is exactly what you're going to get on your CNC machine when running those toolpaths. Now, once you're happy with your preview and all of the settings used, you can then switch over to the Save icon, which is the Save Toolpath tab over here. And this is where you can save your toolpaths into a file format that your CNC machine understands, where you select your exact machine and post from the machine configuration section. When working with Spark, you'll have access to the interactive help dialog in the design view, and this prompts you on some helpful how-tos when working with specific tools, and the prompts will update according to the tool that you are using. For general help and to access the software's documentation, you can click on this question mark here, where a page will open for you to navigate the useful help document should you require more information on a specific tool. So that wraps up this introductory guide to the interface. I highly recommend jumping into the Getting Started video series. It'll give you a broader hands-on introduction to the software through real projects. And if ever you want to dive deeper into a specific tool or feature, we've got our dedicated videos ready to help. So thank you for watching.